Hey everyone, and welcome back to the end of the world. Today we're going to be covering how much water the human body actually needs and the most convenient way to store it. Let's get started. Water is the most important resource in a disaster. During a flood, fire, or earthquake, the water supply can become compromised either through contamination due to pipe breaks and spillage, or the disruption of the power supply, causing a failure of the pumps to carry water to the faucet after the backup generators have run out of fuel. At that point, you have around 48 hours to secure a source of potable water in a moderate climate before you start to suffer serious health effects that will limit your effectiveness. 72 hours can pass before your body begins to shut down. Now, the first step is trying to figure out how much water you actually need to store. FEMA guidelines suggest storing around a gallon of water per person per day, but this includes water for things like cooking, cleaning, personal hygiene, so it's a little bit more than what you would need just trying to store pure drinkable water. Conventional wisdom says you should be drinking around 8 8-ounce glasses of water today, or 64 ounces of water a day. And if you wanted to store that, that would be a little bit less than 1 2-liter bottle of water per person per day. Now, these are good numbers to drink if you want to be a healthy human being, but these numbers rely on you having unlimited access to clean water, which in a disaster that might not be the case. So, if you want to look at how much water you actually need to store to survive, you need to look at how much water your body loses a day. Through breathing, urine, and sweat, you lose around 1 to 1.5 liters of water per day, or 3 of these standard 16.9-ounce bottles of water. Now, what is the absolute easiest, least expensive way to store 50 ounces of water today, you ask? Well, conveniently, these 16.9-ounce water bottles. Put aside 3 of these a day for each person in your house, and you will have 30 days of water. Conveniently, these are sold in 30 plus packs at Walmart, Ralph's, any grocery store in your area. Usually you can get these 30 plus packs for around $2.50 to $3. Now, another benefit of getting these water bottles is that the FDA considers them to have an indefinite shelf life. So if you really want to, you could just set it and forget it. But a good strategy, and this is one that I do, is I get about, well, I have 6 of these, but as I use them, I will go to the store every few weeks and then just replace the package. So that way you're rotating your water out and keeping your supplies fresh. Now, let's look at some other ways how you can store water. Alright, so some other ways that you can store water are these 1-gallon jugs. They're sold at Walmart, Ralph's, grocery stores for around $1. Like the bottled water, they have an indefinite shelf life, so that's good. You can just put it in the cabinet and forget it. And the thing I really like about these guys is the nice square shape. You can stack these, you can store them in that not used cabinet and just leave it there until you need them. There's no shelf life for these guys. If you drink a lot of soda, then another way that you could store water is by saving the 2-liter bottles. Just make sure that you rinse them out first to get rid of a lot of the sugary residue, because that will enhance bacteria growth. A lot of people, when they store in these 2-liter bottles, they add a little bit of bleach to them, a few drops. I'll include a chart in here to show how much bleach you should be adding to these. Now, this information comes from the government, not me, so if you get sick, sue them, not me. But if you do store, even if you add bleach, I rotate the water that I keep in these out around every 6 months, just in case there is any bacteria growth, that you have fresh water in there in case anything were to happen. Now, some people like to store, they think about storing water in the 16-ounce bottles that are reusable. I don't like that for the simple fact that when you take a drink of this water, you're putting it up to your mouth, and the bacteria from your mouth is getting on the lip of the bottle, and the water, part of the water that's in your mouth is going back into the bottle, and the bacteria is just riding that back in there. where it can culture. So if you do store in these, use a little bit of bleach. These also aren't as sturdy as some of the larger containers, and it's just not space efficient. Let's look at some of the larger containers that you can find to store water in. Large 5-gallon cans like these are around $12 at Walmart and are good for storing larger amounts of water. You can add around half a teaspoon of bleach to these and change it out once a year. These come with the downside, though, of being heavier, around 40 pounds when full. Still light enough to be portable, though I won't want to carry it over a long distance on foot. These 55-gallon barrels are usually available at any surplus store or Walmart for around $100 and can hold over 100 days worth of drinking water for one person. I would definitely treat the water with bleach before storing it and change it annually also. It's a good idea if you have a backyard or an open area outside that you want to store a large amount of water in with minimal maintenance. It's also recommended that you invest in a manual pump to remove the water from the barrel, or get a barrel that has a spigot so that you don't have to contaminate your water every time by opening the barrel repeatedly and scooping the water out, exposing it to the elements. The downside to these barrels are the higher cost and the weight. When full, one of these barrels will weigh 450 pounds. Don't plan on going anywhere with it unless it's on wheels or in a car. So to recap, the easiest way to store 30 days of water is with these 30 plus pack bottles of water. Get 3 30 plus packs for each member of your family and you'll be set for 30 days at around the cost of $10. And as a heads up, remember to put away 10 gallons of water for cooking beans and rice, and we'll cover that next week. The easiest way to do that would be 2 of these 5-gallon jugs. Remember to treat it with bleach before you store it. Also, don't forget to put away water for your animals during a disaster. The amount they'll need will be different depending on their size, so measure how much they drink per day now, multiply that by 30. Alright guys, so that sums it up. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe my videos. We'll see you next week for how to store 30 days worth of food. See you next week.